Hello, my name is Gandalf. It's not really Gandalf, but I was thinking about growing my hair out. It's getting longer. I was going to cut it. I didn't cut it. Growing a beard for Halloween. I got 2 weeks to grow it. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm not really going to do that. But the reason why I bring up Gandalf is because I was reading about the Druids this week, and I really wanted to know about my native culture, my indigenous culture. The reason why I wanted to do that is because I just felt it in my bones. I felt it in my soul that it wasn't just First Nations people that were whole and lived in harmony on the earth. It wasn't just ancient Egyptians 3,000 or 5,000 or 10,000 years ago that did this. Um, so I did a little research, and what I want to talk about today is the path of the initiate. This is something or an initiation process that a lot of indigenous cultures used to have to go through, and this is what the Druids had to go through. And if you really want to learn a lot more about this, there was a Canadian author, a Canadian guy. He was a mystic. He was into all different sorts of really popular guy. Passed away years ago, but his name was Manly P. Hall, and he talks about this stuff. And he talks about the Druids, my culture, like European culture. So Europeans studied this stuff years ago. They were land-based people. They studied the stars. They were loving people. And the reason why they go through this path of initiation is they go through a path of initiation because the people who were leaders, the people who led the people or guided the people, they weren't dictators, and it wasn't necessarily like a patriarchy, but it was more love based. It was based from the heart. And the people who were leaders got there not through manipulation, not through buying their way in, but they would get there through passing this initiation. And the initiation they'd have to go through was from the lower mind to the higher mind. So when I think, so just talk a little bit about the lower mind. Lower mind is thinking like, it's the egoic mind. It's thinking like, what can I get from this situation? How can I benefit from a situation? How is this going to benefit me? That's the egoic mind. Where the larger mind, the upper mind, is like, it's having a vision for things, having vision for others, being of service to others, giving of the self. It's not to say that the egoic mind is bad. It's just like it's this recognizing it is a smaller mind, and in this path of initiation of the initiates, of the leaders, is a person would have to pass these tests to show that they cared not just about themselves, and it wasn't just about power. It was caring for the people. It was caring for the earth. So people lived like this for thousands of years. Now, I wasn't surprised to find this information. I think it's really relevant for today too. But first, I just want to share a quick story about my son. He never talks about school. He's in grade 3 now. He's in his 4th year of school, and he never talks about it. And out of the blue, he brought something up the other day, and he said, Dad, he said, do you know that First Nations people, have been here for years, and there's been more environmental destruction in the past 50 years than there were for the 10,000 years before that. And I'm like, I know that. Like, how did you know that? He's like, a First Nations girl came to his class today. This was this week, and she shared the stories of her culture and and she brought that up, and that was the thing that stood out to him. And he told me, like, I knew that, and I was learning about that 15, 20 years ago, and that's what inspired me to go to First Nation ceremonies. Because how evolved were they? How could they live in harmony with the land, with this beautiful land? And I was inspired because the land where we live, it's beautiful. We're on the ocean. We have that power of the ocean that's there. They're beautiful mountains. We have an ideal climate. It's absolute paradise here, and I've talked about that before, but I have to say it again because I love where I live. I feel so alive here. And yeah, so he said that to me, and it wasn't a surprise. And I'm like, yeah, so I shared with him that's what inspired me on my path. And I don't share a lot of that stuff. I just try to be loving to my kids and accept who they are. And he's shy. He doesn't say a lot about school, but he said that. I was really impressed that he brought that up. So I think that the First Nations people, they were more whole. They were, from my experience in the process, they were into healing their bodies, healing their spirits with the intent to grow more whole. But back to the Druids, the people that led were like this too. They went through this process of healing. They went through this process of going from the lower mind to the higher mind. That the people that led the people were from that higher mind, the place of service, place of vision for the people. Now, why would they have these people? Why would they need this people? Why would they pray to the spirits or get these messages and be spiritual people? Because they needed to survive winter. They needed to eat. They needed to help. They needed their leaders to be able to help the people and survive through the winters, survive through with nature, the forces of nature. Nature's a powerful thing. So, the smaller mind would be like security. We're so secure in our homes now, and we have these jobs, but are we really alive in our souls? So the path of the initiate was about a person who was a spiritual person who would listen to their soul and follow their soul, live their soul. One of the big problems I came up with this week is sometimes when you follow your soul, follow your heart, you can come up against things like your biggest fears, the most terrible fears. And I'm not going to get too into the terrible fears. Everybody knows they've run into fears like, can I really do this? The small mind will be like, no, I can't do that. It'll try to talk you out of it. It will go a more secure route. Oh, this path, if I go down this path, I can do this. I can become a doctor, become a lawyer. I wanted to be like a scientist or a lawyer when I was in high school. And that didn't work out. I went into accounting. That didn't work out either. I took a spiritual path. I listened to that inner voice within, that quiet mind. Gandhi called it the whispers. Listening to the whispers of the soul and following that. The big mind is not so certain. It's not so secure. That path might not be, you might not see the path. You might not know where it's going to take you in a year or 5 years. You might not know how that's going to be. I know 15, 20 years when I started this path, I had no idea I would be here today. I had no idea I would end up in this city. I would stay here. I would, thrive, have a family. I never thought I'd get married in my 20s. I was a mess. But through healing, through facing the biggest demons, even the biggest demons, like facing like fear of death or uncertainty or losing it all, facing that fear and just letting it dissolve. When you let that dissolve, you become, where there was fear in your body, where there was like whatever, wherever there was hurt or there was pain or that part in the mind that says I can't do this. When you say I can, and you can call upon the forces of nature to guide you. You can call upon the earth, call upon the sun, call upon God, whatever you believe in, to move you through those things you don't think you can do. When you call on that bigger mind is you, it's in you, you can get through anything. And when you get through that thing, that's when doors open, new ideas come, because where there once was fear or pain or hurt or sadness or whatever, there's now love, there's energy, there's creativity is allowed to flow through. And that path that you can't see starts to open up, and you follow it, and it's adventurous and it's awesome. So I had to face big fears this week, biggest, deepest fears, and I'm not going to give power to the fears. I'm going to energize, or I'm not going to rage against the machine like I used to do. Used to love that band in the 90s. Saw them in 97. Gonna love. Gonna let go of anger. Gonna let go of fear. And let the love guide. It's what the Druids did. It's what the First Nations did. And it's what I'm going to energize in my soul to create that future I want to see for my family. I don't know exactly what that looks like, but I want to, like, we live, in a lot of ways, we live it now. We support local farmers who are organic farmers. We support these people. They have a good relationship with the earth. We want to honor the earth as best I can. We walk to school. And there's these band-aid solutions we can do. But I think as each person faces their fear, listens to that inner voice, we're all being charged now. The earth is being charged with light. Our galaxy is being charged with light. Every human being is called to that initiation into the higher mind right now. And as we listen to that inner voice, I think there's going to be solutions that we never dreamt about 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. And I see an awesome future for humanity. Now, there's a lot of forces, like if you watch TV, there's a lot of bad things going on. I don't watch TV anymore. Not as much TV anyway. Don't watch commercials, because I want to be influenced by my soul, not by what, companies or corporations or anything. I don't want to get too into the dark side. I want to energize the light. I think there's an awesome future. I know there's an awesome future for us. And I know as more people wake up, there's millions of people waking up, maybe billions. And it's not like, I don't think everybody needs to wake up. I was thinking, when I looked at the Druids, it's like the Druids had two paths. One path was for the initiates, was for the leaders, was for the healers. And these people, they studied in the higher mind. They went through this path and they faced their demons. And there's other teachings for just the common people. So I don't think all 7 billion people, I don't have this ambition plan that 7 billion people are going to wake up on this planet. We're going to create this new society. But I hope just enough people wake up that, we live more harmonious on the earth, that we follow our souls, that life becomes awesome, that we're free to speak, that the internet doesn't become controlled, but the internet becomes free. It stays free. I'm trying to pass laws right now to cut some conspiracy theorists off and this and that. I want to stand in the light. I want everybody to be spiritually free. Yes. So that's what I want to charge. I don't want to live in a communist society. I don't want to be controlled. I want to live free in my heart from love. That's as loving as I can be. There's no demonic forces guiding me. We guided by love. So much love for you. So much courage to you in facing your fears, overcoming fears. Anybody can heal anything. You can heal anything. I can heal anything. So much love and power to people who want a great life and be a part of that great future that I see. And I want to call forth, light. One more thing I want to talk about. My garden this week, I was digging up my garden. I had to share this thought. Digging up some plants, and some plants weren't thriving. Some plants were suffering. So I dug it up. I always move things around. I move like 50 plants around a season. I always move my garden around and play with my garden. And I dug this one plant up, and there's this big, let's see, it was about, inch long, this grub. And what happened was this plant's 5 years old, and it should have had a root system about this big, and the plant should have been about this big, because I know it was a Hebe, it should have been that big. Anyway, the plant was about this big, and the root system was even smaller. And what happens is grubs come up and they eat the roots. So my hope for humanity is that we don't let anything influence us. We don't let any grubs, any bad things come up and eat away our creativity, eat away our souls, our spirits, that our souls grow and they thrive, our plants grow and they thrive. I was just thinking about this. And how do you get rid of grubs? I could get chemicals and kill them, but if I kill grubs with chemicals, it will kill everything in the soil. It'll kill the microbes, it'll kill all the stuff. Anyway, there's a natural way to get rid of grubs. You can release a microbe called nematodes. Nematodes kill grubs. Nature is nasty sometimes, but it's also, I think that's the most loving approach I can take. So when I look at society, what's the most loving thing I can do? What's the most loving thing I can do to this problem? If I release nematodes go in through the 5 senses of the grubs. They go through the eyeballs, they go through the nose, they go through the mouth, they even go through the anus. I was reading about nematodes. This is what they do. Nature sounds disgusting, but this is if you do any research on it, this is what they do. So my hope is that the light penetrates society, penetrates all people, dark people, light people. I have so much love for not just the light, but darkness, and hope that people heal. My hope and prayer and asking of the angels, asking of the earth is people heal and we start living on this planet more harmoniously, and that the grubs get eaten alive by the nematodes. That's all the love I have today. So much love to you, so much courage, so much hope. I don't think I'm going to be Gandalf for Halloween, but maybe I will be a druid. I don't think I'm going to grow a beard in 2 weeks, though, and my hair's not going to get long. But it was long when I was with First Nations people. It used to be down to like here. It was crazy. That's it.